News covers your child's classroom.
We are entering a very nostalgic time of the year, I think, the holiday season upon us, and we have come to a place that really embodies that this morning. We're back out in Dade County, in Trenton specifically, at Blooms and Stitches. It's a quilting shop and a place where you come to meet friends. I'm talking with Brenda Brown, Martha Ann Stone, Liz Riddle, who is the owner, couldn't be part of the conversation this morning, but she was quick to bring y'all in. So
yes,
thanks for the welcome.
Well, yes, thank you for being here.
I don't really know quite where to start with our conversation because, of course, this is quilting, Brenda. But when I mentioned that this is also where friends come to be, that's very true.
That's true.
Y'all are here pretty much every day quilting and learning about life.
Yes. We're here from Tuesday to Friday.
Okay.
And we're here from 10 till about 5.
Okay.
And then on Saturdays, if someone wants to come in, we're not necessarily open, but if you call us, usually one of us can meet you here.
If you know anything at all about quilting, then you know it's a very hot ticket, if you will.
Yes.
And you don't find a lot of places that can do what y'all do. If somebody's watching and they want to finish off a quilt, you can help them with that.
Absolutely. So what we have a lot of people do is when their grandmas are older and pass away, they'll have quilts that are unfinished. And you can bring them to us and we finish those quilts. We put them together if they're not all together, and then we quilt them on our long arm. And depending on what time of year it is, depends on how long. Sometimes we can do it between 4 and 6 weeks. And then like now it's Christmas, it would be a lot longer than that. And so that's what people do is they bring t-shirts or dress shirts of someone that has passed away, and we turn them into a quilt, a memory quilt that can be used. A lot of people will hang them on the wall, but we make sure it's done right and it's done so they can actually be used and washed.
Okay, that is an important thing. So let's say that you go, Brenda, and y'all make a queen size quilt for somebody. You really can wash that in the washing machine on cold, I guess. Is that can you dry it?
Sure.
Okay. Yep, you would treat it just like a regular quilt that you would buy from the store or a blanket. You wash them and dry them just like normal.
So,
they're very easy to take care of.
I know. I understand why you said what you did about how people will want to do this, which you kind of booked out for the holidays.
Yes.
You could still take that piece of the unfinished and wrap it up and say, guess what? I found the place.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's never too early to think ahead to those senior graduations. I bet y'all get flooded.
We do get some calls on those t-shirts, and we can take a few t-shirts and turn it into a big quilt, or we can take a ton of t-shirts and turn it in a big quilt. It all determines on what style they want, and they pick out fabrics. We have traditional fabrics. We have very modern, artsy type fabrics, depending on the taste and whatever that particular parent wants for their child.
Right. I think that's a worthwhile thing to point out too, because often we think of a quilt as being circa the 1800s. That is not the case necessarily.
Not anymore.
It can take on any look.
It can, and it's interesting because quilting has grown so much that we have a lot of young women now that are artists. The lady that did the fabrics behind us, she actually did designing for heavy metal groups, and as a young woman got into it. So her quilts are all edgy. So a lot of young women now, we are not producing just old-fashioned looking fabrics. They're very modern, edgy fabrics. So you have old-fashioned quilts, or you can have super modern, kind of edgy type looks. It's really amazing now.
Just kind of like a fun fact.
Yes.
Ken Burns has a new documentary coming out on Leonardo da Vinci, and I was reading about it the other day, and in the reading of his bio, Ken Burns, one of the largest quilt collections in the country.
That's
So
amazing.
here you have a man who's a filmmaker, and he has all these quilts. You told me, Brenda, that you're kind of new to quilt making. You didn't start until recently.
16 when I got started.
Was it hard?
No, I watched a lot of videos and people that have been in it for years just showed me how to do a lot of things. So I just took off.
I wanted to ask you because also one of the things y'all do here is you teach classes. Is it good for any age person?
Age. We've had little, 12, 13-year-old girls come in here with their mothers and, had took classes, and that was fun.
I know that life is busy for a lot of people. You mentioned that you began to quilt because you had an orthopedic issue that kind of kept you bedridden, or at least in your chair.
Off my feet.
Kept you off of your feet, so you picked up the quilting. Often if we're busy hurrying and scurrying around, Martha Ann, that's harder to find that time. But y'all have a lot of just already made cute
Yes.
pieces for sale too.
Yes, and one of the things that makes us special, we may be a small shop, but we do a lot of big things. And young women can come in and they can say maybe they don't have time to take a class or sew something, but they can come in and pick out a fabric and say, I would like a quilt or a bag or whatever they're wanting in that fabric. They have a hand in that. Even though they may not be sitting down and sewing it, they can still personalize it.
I
So
like
they're
that.
part of, they're part of what we're doing.
Right.
And then a lot of times that pulls them in, because they're like, ooh, I want to do that. I think I can do that. And then we offer classes on how to do that, and we can meet their needs. If they're really busy, we can make really big pieces for their quilts. If they're like me and they like tedious stuff, we can cut things down and make it tedious and a lot of fun. But yeah, that's what makes us special, is we're able to really just know what our customers want and take the time to do it and do it right and do it well. And it's a lot of fun.
Well, it clearly is a lot of fun. There was some laughter in here when we came walking
Yes.
in, and I think there'll be laughter when we leave again. But we thank you so much for your time.
Yes, well, thank
And
you.
if you happen to have kind of one of those heirloom pieces that somebody in your family began, and you're wanting to know who you can trust it to finish it off, y'all take that very much to heart.
Yes, absolutely. It's very important.
Well, thank you both for your time. I'm glad you're back up on your feet.
Yes, I do.
And Liz is going to get there soon, too.
Yes,
We're sorry
yes.
she couldn't be a part of it, but she'll be the one to welcome you in and make you feel like you're part of the friendship, too. Blooms and Stitches down here in Trenton. There's their information. And if you follow them on Facebook, that's how they promote their classes. So see what's coming up in the new
Yes,
year.
thank you.
Buyers are out there. Curious what your home is worth? Let Onward Chattanooga Homes do our